Last night, Ashton was very angry with me, and I did not sleep because I was so upset about it. And as as often is the case, when I'm walking that wire between um, feeling like I did something wrong. Parenting is so iffy. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we get it wrong. And feeling like I did something right, and picking out the parts that maybe were right and the parts that were wrong, and um, just looking at all the different threads of the rope of how I did that parenting scene. And so, um, way back when, I wanted to equip my emerging teen with tools, books, and that he wasn't interested in reading. So I came up with an incentive idea that he said yes to, which is after each book that I purchase for him, and his kinds of books that he likes are all fantasy books. But after purchasing him a book and after he reads it, he will agree to read a book off the shelf, the library that I put together of books that have to do with being a teenager, a teenager's body, boys and girls' bodies, good consent between teens, um, Chicken Soup for the Soul of Teens, all sorts of books that I picked out and lined up on a shelf for him and that he pretty much didn't touch. We had a big argument because he didn't want to go shopping for new sneakers. He does not like new things. He does not like new shoes until he has them on his feet, and then it's fine. But it's always a big hassle to get something new like that. So I gave him an incentive, and I said, look, if you do okay at the shoe shop and pick out the shoes that are comfortable, um, we will walk across the street from Ted's shoe shop in Keene to Toadstool Bookstore, which is one of his favorite bookstores, and we'll pick you out a book. When we got over there and he picked out a book, before I went to check out and pay for it, I remembered our deal about reading a book that I bought for him and then reading a book off the shelf. And I said, hey, I just want to remind you that that deal is still on too. And he, I think, felt duped and just really did not like at all that I had said that, did not want to have discussion about it, put the book back, left the store, went into the car, would not, yelled at me, would not talk to me the whole way home, went in his room, locked his door, and went to bed on his own. And this morning he was still angry with me, even though we tried to talk, he really couldn't. And then after school, when he came home, um, what happened was, first of all, he said something happened at school. And, this is day 4 into a new school year, and I've been wondering how he's going to do with taking a class up at the public high school with regular kids around him. And today, day 4, by his description, he was eating lunch and he was reading a book after lunch, after eating, and there was a small group of kids. I don't know if they were with the transitional program or the regular public school program, but at least one kid was saying things like, you don't belong here. You don't belong here. And I asked him how he got through it. And he said, I just ignored them because I read in one of my books that teenagers are like that. They can be very mean to each other. And so I'm expecting it. And I said, I know I give you a lot of, I give you things that you don't want to do, like reading these books and like buying sneakers. And I give you incentives so that you do them because I feel like it's really important. And here's a good example of you used something you read in that book to deal with a very difficult situation, and you got through it okay. And I'm so happy with myself. I'm proud of myself for sticking with that. And at the same time, I said, we need to have discussion about, we have a difference of opinion. You felt like you did something, you did a good job at the shoe store, and so you were going to get a book. And you didn't want to have to do that other deal too. And I felt like they kind of went together, okay, I said I would buy you a book if you did a good job, but I also said when I buy you a book, you're going to read another book after. And so we had a discussion, and I said, I am okay with being right or wrong. If you think that your way of seeing things is something that I should be able to see, you're going to have to come up with a good argument, a debate, a good way of saying it so that I hear your point. And if you can sway me, I will think differently. And he did. He said, look, it's just too hard for me to buy a pair of shoes. That's a really big deal. And it's really hard for me to read the books that I don't want to read. Those two things are very hard. So I think, being able to get a book as incentive for going shoe shopping is enough. And I agreed. I said, okay, you swayed me. I agree with you. And also, I want to give you incentive to read more books. So, do you want to pick out 2 books? And one book will be for the sneakers, and one book will be for reading another book on the shelf. And he said, yeah. So we found our way through that one. And I'm proud of myself for being a good mom, and for being an imperfect human, and for figuring out how to balance those two things, how to bring both of those things into my relationship with my grandson who I'm raising. Kudos to you for your parentings and your difficult times getting through parenting, and for sticking with it and all the way through to the other side. I am in solidarity with you.